one of the reasons why it's so important that that somebody like Starmer, or indeed any other person, takes on the very worst people, is because otherwise we can never be sure that we're getting a decent trial. In other words, if everyone gets equal and decent legal representation, we then know that the judicial system is actually working, and we can actually convict the right people. And
that means anyone. When you say anyone, you mean anyone who's in the country.
Anybody. Yeah, I think every single person is entitled to the best possible legal representation that is afforded to them.
Would that be true of you, Ben? If you were accused of something awful in Spain, would you be? You would presumably you'd be entitled to some legal representation to clear your name or to defend you.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think this is. I was recently actually on a jury in Britain for some really terrible crimes, because I think they'd all been sort of backed up, and what I really appreciated about it was the fact that this guy, who I won't talk about, this guy, he really did have excellent legal representation. And when we came to our conclusion, we knew that we were coming to the right conclusion precisely because he had the best defence possible, and we concluded what we concluded.
Well, let's test that. Stay there. From Alicante to Anthony in Mile End. Anthony, you want to pick up on what Ben's been saying?
No, sorry, man. I wasn't really listening to him. Not in a rude way. I'm just waiting for him to finish.
Okay. Well, you pick up on what he was saying, that everybody is entitled to legal representation.
I think everyone is entitled to legal representation, because sometimes people get blamed for stuff that they don't do. But if you generally by your own choice came over for, say, from not a land from Britain, like you're from a foreign land, no racist term, no disrespect. You've came to Britain, you took a life, you've tried killing someone, you shouldn't get legal aid. If you're strong enough to know your own actions and chose to come here to kill someone, you don't need someone to defend you. Okay. You can speak for yourself.
So Ben, I'm going to throw that over to you in just a second. But Anthony, you would like the principle to be, if you come to this country, you are foreign born, you're in the UK, you kill someone or you are accused of murder, you shouldn't be able to have legal representation in court, paid for by the taxpayer.
Yeah, absolutely. You shouldn't be able to get it.
Okay. Let's throw it over to Alicante.
If you were strong enough to make your own decision to come here, take someone's life, Lee Rigby got killed and his dear old mum has no son. And them men who done that knew exactly what they were doing, and he done it by choice. Why are you going to defend them? If they are going to be defended, they are strong enough to speak their reason into being why they done it, and then you can be judged into why you've done it.
Stay there, Anthony. I would implore you to listen in to what Ben is going to say back to you, because it might be interesting. Go on, Ben.
Well, I mean, thank you so much for keeping me on the line. The first thing I would say is how on earth would you actually be able to introduce such a law that would actually differentiate between those people who immediately arrived? And also, why just murder and certain other crimes? Why not all crimes? I mean, it's patently preposterous what your caller is suggesting. It's ludicrous. What we need is equal representation for everyone, and that's the only reason that we can actually be sure when a murderer kills somebody, and when we put that murderer behind bars, we can be sure that that person had the best possible legal representation. So we as a society cannot question ourselves. We know that this guy had the best representation. And anyone that denies that says, OK, we're going to have representation for this person because they lived here for 30 years or 40 years, but we're not going to have representation for that person because they've only just arrived.
All right, let's ping-pong that argument back over from Alicante to Mile End. Anthony?
Mate, you cannot judge on all crimes exactly the same. If someone from a foreign land has came here to take a life and took a life, you cannot judge them exactly the same as someone who accidentally had a pub fight or...
Well, no, but Anthony, sorry, who's doing the judging? The point... Hang on a sec, Anthony. Well, the point of having a criminal trial is that, if it's serious enough, in front of a jury, the arguments are heard, the jury decides what the verdict is, right?
Yeah, crack on with that. Yeah, you got to have that.
You can only do that if the person that's accused
had... to defend them.
But you wouldn't have that, Anthony. Hang on a sec, Anthony. You wouldn't have that. You'd bypass that. If the person who comes to the UK from abroad kills someone, you presumably wouldn't bother with the trial, even if they said they weren't guilty of it. You would just lock them up.
No. That's
so
not
what would you do?
That's
You'd
not
let
what
them
I'm
go.
saying. We're talking about legal aid. We're talking about a taxpayer paying for the solicitor to defend them for a chance of getting off. If someone came here and took a life, killed someone, even pedophilia, and they know they've done it, they've spoke about it on camera. The people of Lee Rigby's case told and spoke about why they done it.
They did.
They said,
but we don't lock people up.
Why should they be represented?
We don't lock people up for life without going through a trial first, because that's our system.
No. I never said anything about trials. I said they shouldn't get legal aid.
So who represents them in the courtroom?
Well, they either put their hands in their pockets or they speak.
But they haven't got any money. They haven't got any money. So who represents them?
Speak your defence. Why did you do it? Why didn't you do it? Why are you here? Why are you not here? Speak it. My point of this whole argument is they should not get legal aid.
And now I'm going to apply that to you. You do something that you say on camera you did. You admit it. You, for some reason, plead not guilty in the trial because you want the show of a trial. I'm going to deny you legal aid because, Anthony, you can't afford it.
I don't think you understand how bad of murder is. You have taken someone's life.
And that's what you're accused of. That's what you're accused of in my...
You came from another country,
so it's that bit that matters,
choice, and took a life by choice, and you're not bothered by it. You wanted to. You have travelled thousands of miles to do this. Came here, took someone's baby boy, and now you want to go, oh, no, can someone help me get out of jail, please?
Look,
how is that right?
Specifically, of course, in the...
That right? Represent yourself. Give your reasoning to why you just travelled thousands. How did you get here for thousands of miles, but you can't pay for a solicitor?
Are you talking about Lee Rigby's case again?
In general. If you come from a foreign land, Lee Rigby's case is an example especially.
Well, it's
came
not.
From a foreign land,
they were born here.
Thousands of miles, came here to kill someone.
They were born here, Anthony.
They are dead.
Those two guys who murdered Lee Rigby, they were born here.